I'm Sage. I'm from Connecticut, and I am doing a half marathon again, virtually. My why for this started honestly for weight loss to get ready for my wedding. I had so much fun like getting into the training and starting it that I just was like, well, if I lose the weight, I lose the weight. But right now, I think my mental health kind of got so much better that the aspect of weight loss was like, whatever. I, in high school, was like a three-sport varsity athlete, soccer, basketball, lacrosse. Decided not to play in college because I wanted that college experience. And then when I graduated, I was like, whatever. And then I had a kid. So the wanting to get back into shape was like, okay, well, I'm a mom. It'll happen. I'll take my time. But then now she's 7 and I still had the same weight as when I gave birth to her. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of want to get in shape just to feel good, see what I can do. And I started with Orange Theory, but then the pandemic happened. And I've always liked running. I just didn't know what the heck I was doing. So like before I started training, I was like, okay, I'll go for a mile. And then I would stop and I'm like, so now what? And then I was like, okay, well, my friend's running, so I'll do the 5Ks with him. But he's like so much faster because he's been doing it for 6 years. And I was just like, all right, I'll see you at the end. But I was like, well, I kind of want to like do a 5K, but like actually not be dying at the end. So then I saw your 5K. And so I started doing that. And then the pandemic really hit. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not doing Orange Theory. Like, I'm not going to be doing in-person racing. So I was like, what else? Might as well start training for a half marathon. And at first I was like, the marathon people and the half marathon people, they're nuts. Why would you ever want to run that long? Why would you want to do that? But then like, as I started training and going longer and getting like the longer runs, I was like, oh, I can kind of see why. Seeing how far you can push your body safely is really cool. Like, I gave birth to a child, so I know my body can do some crazy stuff. So why not run? I honestly just thought I would see the pounds come off and that would be my win. I lost like 2 pounds. I think the changes mentally were bigger. My confidence grew. Like, I went wedding dress shopping. I went in there and I was like, I'll find a dress and it will look good on me regardless of the size. Before I started running, I would have been like, okay, I can't eat for 2 days before I go. I need to be as skinny as possible. And, you know, the confidence really, I think, is what has grown so much. It's really badass. I don't know. I think it's also like body inclusivity, the whole sports bra squad and all that. I was just like, absolutely no way, out of your mind. But like, then I started running in the summer and I was like, okay, I see why it shouldn't matter your size. Like, it's hot. You know, it was just the whole, like, the community, no matter shape, size, whatever, everyone's running. Everyone's doing something to change themselves, but it wasn't an outside change. It was an inner change. And I think that was so different from any kind of workout I've done, any kind of sports I've done, is like the whole aspect usually is the outside. And this was fully the inside. I definitely did not think that I would gain confidence, gain a skill, you know, because running is a skill, and actually really, really enjoy it. You know, I just thought it was like, you know, sometimes working out is just like, you want to see the results so quickly. So I would just stop because it wouldn't happen. But like, I was willing to work through it, even though the progress was slow. So I think like doing that, and also I'm going to school for my master's in social work, which I'm teaching people like progress in therapy is slow. So the fact that like I had to like work on what I'm preaching was nice to see the linear with that. It helps with my depression. So it helps with that. I also think, you know, I'm an alcoholic, so it helps with my addiction and getting out of my head. And it gives me time. I'm the type of person that like, I don't do stuff for myself because I consider myself it's to be selfish. So like, I will spread myself thin for everyone else and then I'll burst and everyone will be like, whoa, what the heck happened? And it's because I haven't done something for myself. So even if it's 30 minutes, like, it allows me to just either cry while I'm running, laugh while I'm running, or just like sprint out anger. It gives me that outlet that I need to kind of keep myself a little bit saner. I am a very competitive person. You know, that's why I do the group workouts, because I want to see the person next to me be like, oh, well, screw you, I'm going to go faster. So it was kind of like I had to actually be my own cheerleader. I had to compete against myself, which was great. But at the same time, it was like, you kind of wanted that other person, even for like a high five, like, oh, this sucks. Just to know that like you went through it. But, you know, as I started doing it and running by myself, I kind of started to like it because I'm a person that likes to be by myself. The whole idea of having a wedding, the attention on me is the most like scary thing I think I've ever thought of. So running it by myself and not seeing someone was sad, but at the same time I was like, that works for me. I'm that type of person that doesn't need that attention. But at the end, when I like was done, you know, my fiance was there and he was waiting for me with a bacon, egg, and cheese. And I was just like, absolutely. Okay. One person works for me, you know, and with food, I was like, I'll take it. But it would have been nice to have the cheers and, you know, like a little medal or just something like that. But I think it also like, I knew I wasn't doing it alone because I had the community. So like, I knew someone would be like, oh, I did it too. And like that in the end was enough. Honestly, I didn't think I would be able to do it. I really didn't. So just the fact that I finished was the biggest surprise, and that I didn't collapse. I mean, walking down the stairs the next day, I think that was also a really big surprise. Someone told me to walk backwards down the stairs, and that saved me. But I think knowing that I finished, and I walked some of it, but that's okay, and not beating myself up for that, I think that was probably one of the biggest things. I still, to this day, I'm just like, I'll randomly look at one of my family members, hey, guess what? I'm like, what, Saige? I finished a half marathon. Still, you know, it's one of those things where I never, ever pictured myself doing it, ever. I still don't want to do a marathon, but I can do more half marathons. That's where I'm at now. I mean, and after doing the first one, I was like, why would I stop now? I took a couple weeks off and I was like, well, I'm bored. I need to do something. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll do it again. Yeah, I didn't think about the winter aspect. It really sucks. I just saw spring. I was like, oh yeah, that'll be nice spring. I think it also like, it's my last semester of my master's. So like I needed something for my sanity. So I was like, okay, this helped so much in the summertime with everything going on that it'll help again with the winter blues and all that stuff. But then it's like, I haven't left the house. I've been using my treadmill, which is also like not accurate because it's so old. I enjoyed it so much the first time that I was like, it's not like I'm going to enjoy it less. If anything, I'll take this less serious because I know I can do it and I'll actually have fun with it. And like, I'm now taking it as like, I'm listening to myself. So like, if I don't feel like running, I'm actually not doing it, which is very, like, it makes me sweat thinking about it. But I'm actually taking it and having fun. And that's like, I gotta have fun because right now, besides the pandemic, wedding, masters, I don't know, I'm home, 7-year-olds. That was also one of the reasons I started running and training, was because I wanted her to see that like even old mom can start running and do things at any age. Also with the ditch the diet culture, that changed my aspect with how I teach her about food. And like, I just, you know, I want her to do whatever the heck she wants and know that if she wants to run an ultra marathon, go for it. Mom won't be there, but I'll be there at the finish line. You know, like I want her to be able to do whatever she wants, but she won't if I care too much about things. I just need, I also needed something for me, and I stopped training and I was running, but I hated that I wasn't running for something.